helping people define their ICPs, their ideal customer profile, the kind of people that you want to go after and be a part of your business, the kind of people you want to service. And so that's what we're finding. We're spending a lot of time helping people identify what that looks like for them.
Welcome to Beyond Clean with Ace. In the world of commercial cleaning, whether you're new to the industry or a seasoned professional, you know we're all more than just toilets, windows, and floors. We're just like everyone else with diverse interests in everything. Now in Season 9, tens of thousands have discovered engaging and thoughtful knowledge that's truly game-changing at Beyond Clean with Ace. Whether you're a facility manager, a frontline staff member, or a building services contractor, we're here to help you grow personally and professionally. So hit that subscribe button and share with others. We're all about enhancing lives in healthy, positive, and proactive ways. So join me, Dave Thompson, Director of the Academy of Cleaning Excellence, your host at Beyond Clean with Ace.
Well, good morning, everyone. This is Dave Thompson. That's me. And I guess you might see we're here at Beyond Clean with Ace. We're going to talk about cleaning. It's that time of the month again. It's getting towards the end of, do I dare say, July of 2025? Yes, half of the year is almost gone. It's, here in Florida, it's dead summer. It's been summer. It's 85 at 8 o'clock. And then, of course, we get our rain in the afternoon, so it's humid and wet. But we didn't come here to talk about weather, although we always do. It just seems like that's what we do. Nice thing is every month Jerry tunes in, and he likes to talk, I think just about as much as I do. So, hey, let's see what Jerry's got on his mind today and listen to somebody else other than me.
Hey, Dave, how are you? Good to see you.
I saw a face and I was just waiting for the voice to come because, those people on the podcast, they're not looking at the video. They're going, dead silence. Is this good?
Yeah, I was trying to catch up. So, yeah. Well, it's good. Good to see you. Good to be with you again. And always love to be able to spend some time with you and the people on your team and the podcast here. So, so looking forward to it. It's I hate to say this, it's 80 and sunny here this morning and has no rain and only going to be 82 today. So not bad.
Oh, you poor thing. I don't even, the nice thing is, here in my office, my classroom, I complain all the time about that I have no windows. But during this time of the year when it's hot, I'm glad that there's a concrete wall there. Yeah. It kind of helps keep things cool. But 80, I think, is kind of standard everywhere right now.
Yeah, not too bad. So not bad at all. But well, good. Yeah, so much for the weather, right?
Yeah, so much for the weather. So hey, everybody, welcome to the local weather report live from Florida.
That's funny.
And they go, I thought we were going to talk about cleaning. We do name this Beyond Clean because we talk about everything. Speaking of such things, fall and conferences is always something that comes to mind. I'm not going, abroad. Hey, I happen to be coming to the conference is coming to Orlando here in October, and I'm going to be presenting my program again here. We did that up at the NFT conference earlier this year. We're going to do it here again in October. What's on your travel plans, Jerry?
Well, I am in August. I'm heading to Cleaning and Cocktails with Ricky Regalado and his team. Doing some work there with them, and which should be a very good event. And then looks like I'll be doing the BSCAI Vegas show this year with them, and just spend some time with some of the folks there. That's my plan anyway. So I'm working on that. And it's always good to see a lot of folks there who are trying to make it work and trying to make it happen in their company. And then I've got, I'm speaking in September and again in October at smaller events, but on talking about culture and things of that nature, helping business owners understand those kind of directives and how to make that work. So, but yeah.
So let's talk about a little bit before we get into other things. There's a lot of people that are coming to the podcast that may or may not know what we're talking about. You and I are talking about like, hey, we've been doing it so long.
Sure.
And that is true. Most of the people that are listening probably do. But for those people that don't, why go to conferences if you're just in the cleaning business?
Yeah, I think one of the huge benefits of going to a conference is I always try to go with the mindset of I'm going to look for that one golden nugget that's going to change my company or change something I do, or that aha moment. And so I think it's good for you to get out, be around like-minded business owners, see what's happening in the industry, see what new things might be coming down, but also being able to. I think the biggest benefit is getting to hang out with people, go to dinner, and just talk shop. And that's often where you find that aha moment of, man, I should adjust and do that, or I think this would help my company move to the next level. So, with the internet and all now, there's so many ways you can look and see and buy things online, but you can't replace that personal interaction with people and that understanding and the growing that it affords you. And so I think it's a huge benefit. So
do you think you get a little bit more of the behind the scenes conversation that you don't get like if you were on the show floor? So are you saying spend as much time off the show floor as on?
I personally, when I go, it's a horrible thing to say, but I don't know in the last 3 or 4 years if I've ever completed the show floor. I might have been there and seen some things that I was specifically interested in, but I spent the bulk of my time in the training sessions or in the and talking to other people with the like-size business that trying to understand where they are, and then hanging out with people that have businesses that were bigger than me, so I could, really go, okay, where's the bar and how do I set it and how do I get there? And so I loved picking people's mind. But
so
yeah.
Are you saying that we don't need the exhibits? We could just have a conference and have all kinds of workshops and conversation then?
Oh, Dave, I'm not gonna let you pin me on that one. So no, I'm thankful for all those things, and our vendors are really good vendors. But yeah, listen, there's some great stuff there. There's some really cool emerging technology that I think a lot of the stuff, once all the bugs are worked out of it, there's going to be some things that are going to benefit business owners really well. But just for me, it's the personal aspect that benefits me the most. And so, yeah, I don't mind getting to see a good scrubber that works well, or, I'm kind of old school. It's terrible, but we still have a 1992 Service Master 20-inch scrubber. It weighs 500 pounds, and it's the only thing that cleans a floor really good. But I have newer stuff too. But anyway, I thought it was funny that.
Gosh, if I knew we were going to talk about that, I would have had some pictures of some of the old auto scrubbers that I first used back in the 80s, man.
Yeah, let me tell you, that thing it takes two of us to get it in the truck, but it is.
So then do you remember the TB24, the metal, it still even had the porcelain tank in it?
Yes. Yeah. I don't know what it is about that old unit, man, but the weight of that thing, I can remember putting it, going into a barber shop my first couple of years, and we were doing a barbershop for a family. And that thing, man, it would cut through anything. You could basically put water on the floor, which is not the way to do floors, but it would cut through anything. That thing had so much weight on it. It was great.
Now don't go slapping around water, man, because water's a universal cleaning agent. And I preach all the time. We don't need as many chemicals. We just use a lot of water.
True. You get the right pad and the weight right and some water. You could tear up a floor.
Well, I mean, and I think, Jerry, it's interesting you say this, and it's if you're new and just come to the cleaning industry, you hear us old guys talk about this. We've seen a lot of advancements, a lot of changes. And to your point, I think one of the things at the last conference I went to that you and I were at, I was walking around the show. I'm not in selling the machines and stuff like that anymore. It's all education. And actually a guy running a drone actually gave me one of the best tips that I ever saw. And it was 3D camera work and stuff, because, we're all advancing our training programs. And I got one of my best, as you said, golden nuggets from a guy that isn't doing what I'm doing at all.
Yeah. Yeah, it is fascinating when you do walk the showroom floors at those places and see the vendors and what you can learn. I'm very fascinated by it. My investment in conferences is I really want to learn what other people are doing. But yeah, there's some great stuff out there, some great technology coming down the pike. And so I think there's a lot of things that allow a business owner to be efficient, get better pricing, get better customer service. Probably that is advancing the industry quite a bit. So
it's been a while since we talked. I mean, I don't think we talked last month because of everything going on. So catch us up on what's happening in the world of consultations up there.
Yeah, I think so. We're full on into coaching, and we are doing group coaching, doing a peer group. I'm doing one-on-one coaching, and I think one of the biggest things that we're finding right now that I would love to, let people hear about, and if they need our help, reach out to us, and on our website and all. But one of the things that I think businesses, I'm working really hard with businesses from startup to $1 million, then trying to get them that $2, $3, $4, $5 million mark. One of the things I'm finding is, Dave, that a lot of business owners want to be all things to all people, right? And they want to take everything they can, no matter what it is. And we all have just so much capacity. And what happens is when our capacity is hit, our ceiling is hit, that's typically when the ceiling is hit for the business, because we don't have the resources to hire a manager or someone else to help us. And we get on this vicious cycle of getting up, working in the office from 8 to 4 or 5, putting on a different set of clothes and going out and cleaning or doing floors. And we get in this cycle and just, I can't stop the wheel, right? I can't get off this hamster wheel. Right. And so that is, I'm hearing a lot of that. And so one of the things that we're working on is helping people define their ICPs, or ideal customer profile, the kind of people that you want to go after and be a part of your business, the kind of people you want to service. And so that's what we're finding. We're spending a lot of time helping people identify what that looks like for them. And, Dave, you have a lot of people that come to you to learn how to do floor care inside of their business, to offer it as a tag work, or if it's part of their contract. And a lot of times, it's not just the floor techs, it's the owner, or it's a high level manager, because they don't have a lot of layers of staff, which is indicative of the industry until you get to a certain point. But trying to get over that plateau can be very difficult. So we're trying to help with that. We're trying to give people ideas and tips and a little bit of a guardrails and a roadmap on how to do that.
I just got through working with a bunch of people earlier this month myself, Jerry, and you're right. And it, whether they, this was a contract cleaning company franchise, and they have been contracting out their floors to somebody else because they weren't schooled in it. They wanted to add it as a revenue stream and not have somebody else doing it. And I said, the thing about it is what type of floor? Well, floors. I'm like, no. You've got to get specific. What type of floors? Concrete floors, wood floors, LV, VCT, carpet, stone. They're all floors, but they're different. There are different materials that you have to take care of. And I think this is where you and I have to work with these people and coaching them along that way of pick the one, stay with the one. specialize in. Now, for me, let me ask you this. Whenever we talk about, and I'm in the floor business, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So I'm talking, which one is the most popular floor that's being put down today that's going to build that revenue stream for you into the future? Whether you're a brand new business or you're like these folks, I think this is the whole thing that people don't do as business owners.
Yeah, I agree. Dave, here's what I encourage everybody to do. Do things in threes, right? So
Okay.
if you want to specifically go on the floor care market, what do I want to do? What do I want to clean? What do I want to offer to service wise? Well, first of all, you should look at your customer base first and find out, is it VCT? Is it carpet? Is it stone? What is it? Make that your priority, right? So VCT might be, or carpet might be your priority. And then decide, okay, we're going to do 3 and we're going to do them really well. So we might do VCT, carpet. And I think you and I know this, we talked about it quite a bit, but concrete refinishing is becoming a very popular thing. A little bit of expense to invest to get into it on the equipment side. But there's also vendors that help you with that equipment to get started. You don't have to go out and buy it right away. So I encourage people to look at 3 different types and focus on that. Maybe not offer all 7, 10, 12 type floor cares, because, again, you become a mile wide and an inch deep, and you want to, in your training program, gets to be arduous and hectic because you got to train on every type of floor, where you could say, call someone like Dave and go, Dave, would you come and train our team on these 3 types of flooring and help us get really good at our practices and our procedures? And what does it look like to do the floors the way that we want them done? Like for us at our company was called Davis Professional Services. And when the guys did VCT, my theme was no hair floor care. So on VCT, we did a ton of medical, right? And the guys would do a process because they might, their other job, they might do it one way and I would say, listen, there's a way we're going to do floors here, VCT floors here. It's called the Davis way. Here's the process that I want and the way I want things done. And here's why, because I've done it. I went out and did it early on. I learned it. I understood what worked. And listen, nothing chaps me more than for my guys to do this amazing floor, and you come in and right in the doorway you see this one long hair, right, that's embedded in the wax. And I know exactly what happened. They've reused a mop head that was at a previous job site or somewhere else, and they didn't get a new mop head. We budgeted for every wax job to have a new or 2 mop heads depending on the size of it, so that we didn't have that kind of thing happening. Hair come from anywhere, but the bottom line is it's typically from there.
Well, now wait a minute. It's not going to come from you and I. We don't have any.
No, that's true. So if I'm on that job site, it definitely ain't happened. But so that's the kind of encouragement I would give people, is do things in threes, especially where you are right now. If you're in a smaller business now, as you get into 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 million, then you can have a broader footprint. But when you're in that new stage, under $5 million, don't stretch yourself too far, because you want to be able to manage with efficiency. And if you have too many things on your plate, your ceiling's it's going to keep hitting, and you're going to be frustrated and wonder, why can I not get there? So
do you mind if I dig a little deeper?
No, that's fine.
Okay. So, I'm thinking about your concrete that you talked about. And I think this is true with all types of floors. If you're listening to the podcast, we thank you. If you're watching the video, you can see us. We have a tendency to talk with our hands, right? So here's the thing. I think that people, when they look at floors, and you're talking concrete, there's the daily maintenance of concrete. There's the restoration of concrete. And there's always that in between. Now, I think the thing here is as you're thinking about adding this revenue stream, I coach the fact is, what is going to bring you the most revenue with the least amount of effort, not only on your budget, but on your training and your people, and not distract from your core business. So that would not be restoration.
Right. I like to say this, Dave. I like to say your tag work needs to get into a rhythm, right? And so in the floor care side of it, if you have a customer that doesn't include floor care in their janitorial contract, but they want you to do it, get them in a rhythm, right, of maintenance and refinishing, whatever that looks like, and make sure that your janitorial team is using the proper chemical, the proper temperature and water, so it doesn't break all that stuff down. I find a lot, and you could help me with this because I don't remember all the small details, but I found early on, a lot of our problems for floor care were janitorial cleaners using super hot water, to mop our VCT floors, which in theory, I think people are like, yeah, you got to have hot water to get a floor clean. Well, what it does, it breaks down that wax, and over time, and next thing you know, you got dull floors, and the floor guys are like, what'd you do to this floor? So
Jerry, you don't want me to go down that rabbit hole, really?
No. But I mean, it's just simple things like that. Finding a rhythm, not in just your systems, but in your training. Make sure that people, like, just a simple thing in your training. Hey, we use cold water here. And you mentioned concrete, and we're talking about that. But and folks, if you're listening, I want you to really listen carefully here. If you think about a red pad on an auto scrubber, you were talking about your auto scrubber earlier, sure, right? And everybody uses a red pad. How long does it take that red pad to turn brown to black? Mm-hmm. And now what is absorbed in those fibers? And I had a concrete finishing guy that was teaching me some of those real ins and outs of this. Mm-hmm. And he says, one of the things about maintaining concrete floors that are polished, which, as you said, are getting very, very popular, he said, don't use a red pad. And I'm like, now, wait a minute. That goes against everything that I've ever been taught in this industry. He says, you never change that red pad, do you? Yeah.
What has it got in it? He says, what you're now doing is you're taking the grit and it's absorbing into the pad. You're putting that pressure on it that you mentioned. And now what you're doing is you're micro scratching and dulling the polished concrete. And I'm like, okay, so what should we do? He said, use brushes if you're going to do daily cleaning, because the brushes will not load up. And so whenever I would get into it, I use cylindrical. Now you might want to use rotary, but I use cylindrical because I want to pull up out of the texture of the concrete. And you know what? Guy was right. Polished concrete will last longer if you don't use pads on it, unless you're using diamond pads and polishing daily, which is another technique.
Yeah. Wow. So look, there's a golden nugget for people right there. I didn't know that. I'm like, that's good. I'm thinking red pad and just flip it and switch it every time. But yeah, so that's great. So a brush. So that's the kind of thing that, like, listening to a podcast, going to a show and talking to people, that's what you learn. And probably, Dave, we probably just saved somebody, or maybe multiple people, a ton of money of scratching a floor and having to fix it themselves on their own dime.
Well, the thing is, as he explained it to me, he says you just don't notice it.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking it's cleaning the floor. And he says, yes, you're right. It does take the dirt off the floor. But you're talking about polished concrete.
Yeah.
And what wears it. And so when we started doing stone floors, we started recognizing that what is tearing up the shine on your naturally polished floor is grit.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
We don't think about that, do we?
Right.
But do you know what grit is and what the measurement is to it? And that's when he got into all of this. And I don't want to get into that rabbit hole, folks, but that's what you're looking for when you're looking for coaching. Now, I want to ask you a question. As I consult with people, I'm coaching them a fact. You need to look at what's the opportunity markets in the demographic that you're doing whenever you're thinking about this. This lady was talking about this and she was down in Miami. I said, well, I happen to know that there's a lot of those big time car dealers like Maserati and Rolls and, and all of these. Do they have stone floors in the showrooms?
Mm-hmm. No doubt.
And she started thinking about it. I said, the thing about it is you look at what your opportunities are, that helps you focus so that when you add that revenue stream, because those people aren't into restoration, they're into daily maintenance.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I think when we talk about that ideal customer profile, like you're pointing out there, get on Google in your area, do a 20-mile radius of your office space and say, even simple, say like we did medical office space, or doc in the box, so to speak, urgent cares. And we put in urgent care within 20 miles of my business. You'll see all that pop up and you go, okay, those are people that I want to work with, or I've trained my organization to do well at. And also, we're a pretty good floor team. So that's a perfect fit for us. So that might be one of your 3, companies that are type customers you're going to go after in your janitorial company, because you can service both the cleaning and the floor care side. And to be honest, the bulk of that is the floor care, is keeping the floor clean. Because, my doctor used to be in a building that we cleaned, and the people that cleaned in there, they knew it, not because I tell them, but they knew from, word on the street. And man, I go sit in the chair in the exam room, and boy, you can guarantee I was looking at corners, I was looking at baseboards, I was looking behind the doors, and just to see, are we paying attention to detail, And so when you're looking for ideal customer profile, identify your industry type, right? That's like you said, that in Miami, going after car dealerships. And I imagine high-end condominiums where you could do day porter services, whatever it might be, and finding that out. And then taking time to look at maybe the cleaning frequency. There are a lot of people that think, I got a 1 day a week account or a 3 to 5 day. I like the 3 to 5 day model, getting started, because the amount of time it takes to manage that, a 1 day account, probably a little more stressful than you think, because typically they expect way more out of you that 1 day a week than a 3 to 5 day a week does. And then, so those are the big thing. And then making sure that, here's another thing, and this applies on the floor side too, is making sure the size and the square footage, that you kind of put some caps on either side of it as you are growing your business. And what I mean by that is, maybe, we're gonna clean 0 to 75,000 square feet max, because our management team, our office team, our field team, that's about all we can handle right now as a company. Keeping in mind, you want stuff to be large enough to be profitable, but small enough to stay efficient, though.
Right.
And that pendulum, or that line, moves as your company grows. But there are people who will, be a husband and wife team, and they've got 4 or 5 buildings they go out clean at night, and then all of a sudden the school system calls and says, hey, can you clean 500,000 square feet of schools? You have 5 buildings, would you be willing to bid on it? And every entrepreneur is going to go, yes, I will, but we're not prepared and equipped to do that. We don't have the policy and the procedure and the structure in place to support it. So be intentional about your growth and making sure that your targeted strategies are around those ICPs or those 3 or 4 things, and size, square footage, making sure that that you have the right industry type, cleaning frequency, and the 4th thing, Dave, is having access to the decision maker, the person who's making decisions about janitorial. can I build a relationship with them to not just get their janitorial, but also floor care, window care, pressure washing? How accessible are they going to be to me? And that will allow you to expand and become sticky, is what I say, to your customers. And floor care plays a big part of that. I've landed many jobs because we had a strong floor care team. Because I'd go do a walkthrough and like, the cleaning's fine, but this current company we have doesn't know how to do floor care, or they don't do it well. Can you do it? And so we had a robust training program for our floor care, and probably used a lot of your videos from back in the day to learn. And so,
well, what you're talking about there, Jerry, is exactly why, many years ago, back when I was BSc and through my career, I recognized that floor care was 80% of what we do inside of a building. The first thing that people notice when they walk in a building is the floors.
Yeah, absolutely.
I used to own my own mats as a BSc, and I didn't do a floor if I didn't put the mats down. And I also logoed those, and it said Floor Care by Maintenance Plus. Yeah. And that was the way I signed my work, Yeah. Yeah, as you said.
It's good.
You went in and it was my floor. I owned that floor.
Yeah. And you're right. There, in our area, there's a hometown banking system, and we clean the bulk of their branches. But their standards are very, very, like, it's when you walk in, it's mint clean. They're very professional. They have a very colonial look, that fits the Virginia area. And they are top notch. And man, we owned that, and we partnered with them, and they loved it because they knew we had the same mindset. So when one of my managers walked into a bank and the teller line needed to be carpet cleaned, we didn't have to call and ask them. We cleaned it and sent them a bill because they knew. We understood the mindset, and we understood the culture. So
yeah, the customer doesn't expect it to look good and then have to call you because they can't stand it. They want it to look the same every day.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Jerry, I know that you've got some place to be today, and I appreciate your time coming on the podcast. I know that people are going to the podcast and hitting it. We've been getting downloads. I can't remember exactly where we're at, but here's season 9. We're really getting a lot of those downloads. And thank you for being a part of the podcast and adding to that drive.
I appreciate it, Dad. It's always a joy to be on. And if anybody needs help from us, just hit us up on our website or get with Dave. He can get in touch with me. We're on LinkedIn as well. We love to help people win. Dave has the same mindset on the floor care side. So just let us know. I love the industry, love the people, and thank you again, Dave, so much.
So for all of you that have been watching on the YouTube channel, you can see Jerry's website there. If you're listening to the podcast, look at the show notes down below. You'll see all of his information there. I'll even drop in that LinkedIn link as well. Jerry, thank you very much. Have a good one. Don't sweat too much. I'll try to survive the water. We'll talk next month.
All right. Thanks, Dave.